after 2 months, what is Apple's lockdown mode really like to use? We've been getting a lot of questions about this feature from all of you. What it does, how extreme it is, and if you should use it. And today, I'm answering your questions about lockdown mode after a quick message. This segment is brought to you by ourselves, specifically Go Incognito, our over 4-hour course taking you through what you need to know about privacy and security. The goal is for you to finish feeling independent so you don't have to rely on anyone to make decisions for you, even ourselves.
When people spout BS, like Signal is compromised, you're effectively saying that math isn't real. At the end of the day, like at least the encryption side of Signal, right? Like you can go ahead, but even, you know what, even the phone number is hashed. Like, so technically speaking, Signal doesn't quite know everyone's phone numbers, but people also dismiss that. Trying to like get factual with people who believe these things is very difficult, but it's the same thing with Proton Mail. People who think Proton Mail can read your emails, you're effectively saying that math just isn't math at that point.
I also want to say that we're working on a V2 to Go Incognito, which is much more updated for the current world. And all of you who join Premium now will be grandfathered into future iterations of the project, which will likely cost more, just being real with you. Which will likely cost more. So I do encourage anyone interested in Go Incognito now or later to hop on that as soon as possible. It's literally $1 a lesson or less if you're a student or paying with Monero. Or less if you're a student or paying with Monero. To cover logistics, Lockdown was released with iOS 16 only on the iPhone, and it was released later for the iPad and MacBook in late October with the rollout of iPadOS 16.1 and macOS Ventura. Lockdown was likely a response to a lot of the negative press Apple was receiving with targeted state actor attacks against its devices. None of these attacks were targeting most people, but rather those in high-up positions. But Apple's image of privacy and security was still being called into question, and maybe Apple just genuinely cares about protecting those individuals. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows?
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
The first and largest area where I instantly noticed changes was in iMessage. If you send a contact a GIF, then reopen the chat later, it'll just disappear, but it did send properly, don't worry. In fact, previews for attachments and files are generally a mixed bag in iMessage. The worst effect of this is if you click on a contact, you lose the ability to have a central place of seeing all images you two have sent in the chat. I would argue this is the largest impact Lockdown mode has on iMessage, since it's hard to locate old photos. Maybe the only more difficult thing is losing the ability to search for a specific message. Yes, the search is broken, with the exception of just searching for contacts and open conversations. You can't search for words or messages or really anything else, which really sucks. Aside from this, link previews are disabled, so you have to manually open links to view them, which is generally not an issue with the exception of someone sending you something like an Apple Maps link, which converts poorly without a link preview, but it's still doable. The final iMessage impact is sharing your focus status. I don't think many people use this, but you're able to share with your contacts if something like Do Not Disturb is on. But with Lockdown, you're no longer able to do that. You can view your contact status, but you can't share your own with your contacts. The second largest impact of Lockdown mode is likely Safari, starting with behind the scenes stuff. The more obvious and larger limitation of Safari is fonts, and this is very obvious very quickly. Here's Crypty, a private and secure note-taking solution, without and with Lockdown mode. Unless you know exactly where to click, this is practically unusable.
Is this guy a retard?
The only other thing I noticed was the accessory prompts when I plug in any accessory, which is actually really annoying since I use a docking station and I have to use the prompt every time I plug in. This accessory thing also impacts other devices. When you plug in an iPhone with lockdown mode into a MacBook with lockdown mode, now the iPhone has to be unlocked, the MacBook has to accept the accessory, and then sometimes, I haven't figured out when, the iPhone asks me to type in the password and trust the computer, even though I've trusted it several times in the past. I don't know if this is a bug or intentional design. What about me? So okay, what about you, dear viewer? Well, we can't answer that question without covering the privacy and security implications of lockdown. Lockdown mainly aims to reduce the attack surface of your devices, meaning it shuts down features and other functionality that can be abused for malicious reasons. With that said, it's worth mentioning that using lockdown does make you stand out more, as your fingerprints or the uniqueness of your device is more unique, which can be used to track you around the internet. I don't think this limitation is enough reason to not use lockdown mode if you need the protection, but it's a limitation you should be aware of either way, as it can jeopardize certain threat models, mainly those requiring anonymity. If you're someone who's a privacy and security enthusiast or just someone who wants to help the cause, I encourage you to enable lockdown mode if you're able to use it. I say this because of the fingerprinting concerns. Some people need lockdown mode for some serious situations, and the fingerprinting concerns are valid, and you can partly assist in that battle by using lockdown mode yourself to make it a less unique attribute of Apple devices. It won't make the world's largest difference. It won't make the world's largest difference. But I am a firm believer that more people using lockdown mode means, first, Apple directly or indirectly knows that users value those features. People around you see that you value these features. You're gaining some privacy and security in the process, so there's still personal gain.
You serious?
And you may be helping people who are actually reliant on lockdown for dire situations. If you're on the fence at all, turning on and off lockdown mode is literally just a toggle in your settings followed by a reboot. That's it. You can turn it on and off at will with no impact whatsoever. So actually, I recommend everyone tests it out themselves to see what it's like. If you don't like it, turn it off. Otherwise, just leave it on and enjoy. I really like this feature and I'm happy Apple pushed it out. And no, lockdown mode doesn't make your device hack-proof or anything crazy like that. You can still infect your phone with malware, you can still install the Facebook app, and it will spy on you.
Snatch back your brain, zombie. Snatch it back and hold it.